Okay, testing. Welcome to the first ever Outpost Awards. I am your host, Outpost. You guys voted for 7 awards: the KO of the year, the fight of the year, the fighter of the year, and much more stuff like that. We also do have some special guests in today's episode of the first annual Outpost Awards, including an UFC veteran. So we'll get straight into it. I won't reveal until the end though who it is. The first award I have though is Breakout Fighter of the Year. The nominees for this award were Joaquin Buckley, Diego Lopez, and Tom Aspinall. 3 very talented individuals. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. Announce the very first award. The Breakout Fighter of the Year is Joaquin Buckley! He was already known in the middleweight as just a journeyman, losing and winning some fights. But since his move down to welterweight, he's been insane on their level, destroying Colby Covington, destroying much other people like Wonder Boy. It's well deserved. In my opinion, Diego Lopez deserved a little more, but that's just my opinion. Let's get into the next award. The next award we have is Knockout of the Year. It is a very interesting category to me because obviously we had some absolutely crazy knockouts this year. Maybe the best in history. The nominees are, obviously, Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway at UFC 300. Ilia Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski. PERRIN versus Jamal Hill at UFC 300 again. And Sharon Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. So this is very tough for me because it mattered if you count the actual moment of Max Holloway's KO being the last second at UFC 300 or the way it was done. I mean, Sharon Bullett's KO double bullet was absolutely incredible at UFC 308. It was insane. Never seen it before. So let's get straight into it. The knockout of the year for 2024 is Max Holloway's KO over Justin Gaethje. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up. I mean, that's not that surprising. We expected that. That's fair. I'm not going to get mad over that because I actually think Shara Putin, is that his name? I don't really know. But I think his Magomedov against Armen Petrosyan was way better. But, you know, it's an insane knockout. Insane circumstances. Good for Max Holloway picking up a award after getting knocked out by Ilia Topuria. So let's give a round of applause. Not going to talk about that one too much. Pretty self-explanatory why that one wrong, though. The next award we gotta get negative, unfortunately. We really gotta get negative. We have the Robbery of the Year. The nominees for this award are Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland. Here's the thing about Octagon Outpost, you guys. You guys should subscribe to Octagon Outpost. Then we have Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. And then we have Alexander Pantoja versus Steve Erceg. I wasn't going to put some fight in the early prelims for a fight night in April. I don't care that much. I only put main ones, pretty big ones. For me, this one was pretty easy to determine. The Robbery of the Year for 2024 is Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. I just rewatched this fight before. I didn't think it was an actual robbery. Now, guys, it was a robbery. I'm sorry. We didn't have any clear-cut robberies this year, so, you know, that's fair for this one. Again, not going to get into this one too much. Pretty self-explanatory. But now we're going to get good. We're going to get into the good stuff. Now for the card of the year. Obviously, this one's pretty obvious, too. Never mind about not the good stuff. This one is pretty obvious. The card of the year this year is probably one of the best of all time. But, you know, I guess I'll read the nominees. The nominees are, of course, UFC 300, UFC 299, and UFC 308. Maybe it's not a clear cut because 308 did deliver. And looking back, 299 was a stacked card, dude. That whole card from bottom to finish, from top to finish, was an absolute war. And, well, the card of the year for 2024 was UFC 300, of course, but you know, it's pretty self-explanatory yet again. Not that hard to explain. It was a banger card. Prelims, early prelims, all the way to the main event. Alex Pereira killing Jamal Hill. It was a pretty good card, you know. But now I'm going to hand it over to the very first special guest of the night. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up to ALEKSMMA, who is not dead even though he hasn't posted in 6 years. ALEKSMMA will be announcing the Fight of the Year award. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up.
And your winner for Fight of the Year is Mateusz Rebecki versus Mitikbek Orobai. I mean, let's be honest with ourselves here, lads. How could you not give this Fight of the Year? I mean, this was an absolutely brutal bloodbath from 2 men that were willing to pour their heart out to win this fight. But, you know, at the end of the day, Polish Power came out on top. Polska Góra, Ra. That's what I'm saying. But I wanna say a big thank you to Mr. Octagon Outpost for letting me announce this fight, and subscribe to his channel as well as mine, ALEKSMMA, and thank you very much.
Next award we have for the Outpost Awards is the Submission of the Year. Obviously, we had some really good submissions. We actually had a lot in title fights, for example. I'll read the nominees to you. 3 nominees for this award are Khamzat Chimaev's win over Robert Whittaker. First round obviously broke Whittaker's jaw at UFC 308. Then we have Dricus Du Plessis submitting Adesanya in, I believe, round 4. Dricus, first person to submit Adesanya. That's a pretty big feat. And then Islam versus Dustin Poirier. Islam got it done in the 5th round after a war, dude. That was a potential Fight of the Year candidate. But yeah, those are the 3 submissions, and I'm going to announce the winner. So, without further ado, the winner for UFC Submission of the Year is Khamzat Chimaev's submission over Robert Whittaker at UFC 308. Like I said before, he got it done in the 1st round. Now he's probably going to be fighting for a title very soon. So, you know, good for Khamzat. Obviously, he was at welterweight. Then he moved up to middleweight, and he took out one of the middleweight goats in Robert Whittaker. So, it's a very good win to do it over someone like Whittaker. And, yeah, man, that's that award. And now we have our next special guest, our very next special guest, a UFC veteran. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay the Joker PERRIN is in the house, and he's going to be announcing the Fighter of the Year. The 2 nominees are Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria. You know, I'll go ahead and hand it over to my boy Jay PERRIN.
What's up, guys? UFC vet Jay the Joker PERRIN here. The Outpost Fighter of the Year is, who else could it be but Shama. Alex Pereira is your Outpost Fighter of the Year.
Thank you so much, Jay, for that message. Alex Pereira, ladies and gentlemen, your Fighter of the Year. What an award to win. And for me, I think the reason he won this over Ilia Topuria is Ilia Topuria obviously knocked at the 2 guts of his division. And that in itself, that should win the award. But, you know, when you look at Alex Pereira, he knocked out 2 former champions. And on top of that, he knocked out Khalil Rountree. But I believe it's just the fact that how he made up for the UFC, dude. Because, for example, UFC 307. At UFC 307, we were going to get Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena as the main event. That in itself should win Alex Pereira Fighter of the Year, because I guarantee you no one wanted to see that fight as the main event. Alex Pereira saved the UFC countless times, stepping in on short notice at 303, stepping in on short notice at 307. 300, obviously, knocked out Jamal Hill. Who doesn't want to see Jamal Hill get knocked out like that? That is why Alex Pereira is a Fighter of the Year. Thank you, boys, for everything you've done for me this year. We grew massively this year. Have a great New Year's, man. I'm going to be grinding next year. I'm going to be on the grind. I'm going to be on the grind, man. 1,000 subscribers, here we come. Thank you to Jay PERRIN. Thank you to ALEKSMMA. Their socials will be linked in the description. Make sure to check that out. And as always, Octagon Outpost, out.